I surrender to the Almighty, my mind, speech and body. Vanakkam, we are reading this book called as Thirukkural, which is one of the ancient books left behind by our Tamil ancestors. This book is written by Thiruvalluvar and it talks about how to align our lives to the order that is found in nature. If we look around us, we can see that nature works in some orderly manner and the term aram is used to denote this order. Our ancient wise people understood that if every other part of creation is able to work peacefully in some orderly manner, then there must be some order in which humans too can conduct their lives to be peaceful and happy within themselves. So that way of life, as it applies to the married life, is what is discussed in this book. That way of life is called as illaram, and this illaram, as shown by our ancestors, can lead us to reach higher states of existence called as padam and even attain mukti or liberation. Where are we in this book? We are following the commentaries given by a scholar called as Parimelazhagar, who lived much after the time of Valluvar. His commentaries for the Kural are highly valued among the Tamil learned people, and that is what we are following now. We have entered the Arathu Paal and we have finished the first chapter on God. Here we saw what is God and how to reach God using our mind, speech and body. And then we entered the second chapter called as Vaan Sirappu on rain. And here Valluvar is talking about rain as an expression of God's kindness. If you understand the workings of rain, then you will understand the workings of life, he says. And we have finished 5 Kurals in this chapter. In these 5 Kurals, we saw that rain is the amrita or the ambrosia for life on earth, because as long as it rains, life cannot be destroyed, and without rain, life cannot continue. And even though the earth contains plenty of seawater, it can never be a substitute for rain. Rain can cause hardships by creating a drought, and it can destroy many things. But after the season of drought, it always gives back whatever it took away in just the way it took away. So that's what we saw in the first few Kurals, and today we will enter the 6th and the 7th Kurals. The Kural 16 goes like this. Visumbin thuli veezhin allal matraange pasumpul thalai kaanpa thadintheezhli. The overall meaning of this Kural is, without rain, even a small blade of grass cannot be seen. Now, in the previous Kurals, Valluvar told us that rain is important for life on earth, right? We get that. But how important is rain? We will see that in these 2 Kurals. See, whenever we have to define the importance of something, we have to tell the lower limit and the upper limit. For example, when we have to tell someone that a certain medicine is good, let's say, then we should be able to say something like, this medicine is good for children of this age to that age. So like that, can we be specific about the importance of rain? Valluvar is showing us the lower limit in this Kural. He says, if it fails to rain, then even a blade of grass cannot be seen. But why is he talking about a blade of grass? What is so great or so little about it? To understand this, we should look at how our ancestors classified the world around them. They said that the world comprised of living and non-living things. What is the difference between the living and the non-living things? Living things can sense the world around them by using their sense organs. They understand and they respond in a suitable way. Whereas non-living things cannot do that. For example, when we keep plants in our house, plants are living things. So we see that plants tend to bend and grow towards sunlight. It understands that it needs sunlight for survival and it grows towards it. Similarly, it understands that it needs water and it grows its roots towards the direction of water. So living things have an intelligent interaction with the world. A chair or a table cannot do that. Now, plants can understand their surroundings only through their sense of touch. Only one sense, the sense of touch. In Tamil, we say that the plant has one Arivu. But some animals, like the monkey or an elephant, on the other hand, they can understand the world using all of their 5 sense organs. So, these animals are life forms with 5 Arivu. The Tamil term Arivu means intelligence. Alright, so what about us humans? Do we also have only 5 Arivu corresponding to the 5 sense organs? Then what is the difference between us and animals? Well, we are said to have 6 Arivu. Our 5 sense organs, that is eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin. And we also have a well-developed mind. The mind can analyze many complex situations and distinguish between right and wrong and be able to pick the best path. You see, no matter how hard we may try, we cannot make a cow or a donkey to understand and follow Thirukkural in its life. So between these two limits, that is the 1 Arivu plant and the 6 Arivu human, we have many different life forms with varying degrees of sensory abilities or Arivu. And there is a poem in Tolkappiyam, which is an ancient book on Tamil grammar, that lists the different kinds of life forms within this spectrum. Let me just read out that poem. ஒன்றறிவு அதுவே உற்றறிவு அதுவே இரண்டறிவு அதுவே அதனோடு நாக்கே மூன்றறிவு அதுவே அவற்றோடு மூக்கே நான்கறிவு அதுவே அவற்றோடு கண்ணே ஐந்தறிவு அதுவே அவற்றோடு செவியே ஆறறிவு அதுவே அவற்றோடு மனனே நேரிதின் உணர்ந்தோர் நெறிப்படுத்தினரே. What this is saying is, all the 1 Arivu beings have only the sense of touch. 2 Arivu creatures have the sense of touch and taste. The 3 Arivu creatures have 3 senses: touch, taste and smell. 4 Arivu creatures have 4 senses: touch, taste, smell and sight. And the 5 Arivu creatures have 5 senses: the touch, taste, smell, sight and sound. And 6 Arivu creatures have the 5 senses and the mind. And this is the classification given to us by the wise people who realized this truth in their experience. So depending on how many senses a living organism had, the living beings were classified from 1 sense to 6 senses. At the lower end of the spectrum, we have the plants which are said to have only 1 Arivu, which is a sense of touch. So now coming back to the Kural, Valluvar was saying that the rain is essential for the grass. Why grass? Because it is the lowest of creation in terms of how it interacts with the world, only through 1 Arivu. Among the plants, the grass is very simple. It has a hollow inside. We may have seen the bamboo plant, which is classified as a type of grass. It has a hollow stem, right? So that's how the grass is. And that is why they say that the grass is a very simple being in creation, a hollow 1 Arivu life form. Poor grass, it seems like we are belittling its presence, isn't it? But don't worry, the grass finds importance in the Hindu tradition, and I will tell you where. In Hinduism, there is a god called God Ganesha, the one with the elephant head. He is considered as a great god in the Hindu religion. And there is a story that says that even God Shiva is supposed to bow down to God Ganesha. He is considered as such a powerful god. Now, to worship such a powerful god, they have made a very simple procedure. They said that among the living things, you take one simple 1 Arivu being, which is a grass. Then among the non-living things, you take the lowliest of low objects, some cow dung. Not everyone will want to touch the cow dung, right? So they said, now you stick the grass on the mound of cow dung, and this symbolizes God Ganesha. And now you worship this, they said. You might wonder, why would anyone want to worship cow dung and grass, right? Well, we do that as it is a constant reminder that God is present everywhere in all the living and the non-living entities, even in the lowest of the living and non-living entities. And that is why God Ganesha is symbolized like this. I may have spoken about this before, but this is such a beautiful concept, so there's no harm in hearing it again. Now coming back to the Kural. This Kural is telling us that Without rain, even a blade of grass cannot be seen. That means it is such a low, simple being, and even that cannot be seen. Then it goes without saying that none of the higher forms of intelligent beings can survive. And that is the meaning of this Kural. It is a simple one to understand. Now, in the next Kural, Valluvar talks about something on the other end of the spectrum. He says that rain is important for the mighty ocean. Why? Now we understand that without rain, even a blade of grass cannot thrive. But what is the need for the mighty ocean? Sea water is just full of water, isn't it? What is the need for the rain for this mighty ocean? We will see that in the next Kural. Kural 17 goes like this. Nedungkadalum than neermai kundrum thadintheezhli thaan nalga thagividen. This Kural is telling us that rain is necessary for the mighty ocean to retain its true nature. But what is the true nature of ocean? The ocean is filled with salt water that supports various forms of plants and animals. That is the true nature of the ocean. And if the ocean should continue to maintain its nature and sustain the marine life, then rain is absolutely necessary. Without rains, the salt content of the seawater will increase and the seawater will become dense and unsuitable to sustain life. The Dead Sea in the Middle East comes to my mind. Now, we are all familiar with the process of evaporation, right? The seawater gets converted into water vapor and this forms the clouds and brings the rain. There is another way in nature to create rain. There is a phenomenon called as waterspout, where the ocean water is directly sucked by the clouds like a huge pillar of water. The clouds will take in the seawater and pour it out as rain. Parimelazhagar says that these two, that is the evaporation and the formation of waterspouts, helps in balancing the salt content of the ocean. Without the process of rain, the salt content will continue to increase and the water will become very dense and it can no longer support life. So even though the ocean is necessary to create the rain, the mighty ocean will lose its natural ability in the absence of rain. Our Tamil literature talks about 5 treasures of the sea. In Tamil, they are called as Kadalpadu, thiraviyam, and they are amber, conch, coral, pearl and salt. And without rain, most of these treasures will be lost. On a side note, the Tamil literature also talks about a unique way in which a pearl is formed. It is said that when it rains and when the star called as Swati is in the ascendant, and at that time if an oyster should come to the surface of the water and open its mouth, and if a drop of rain enters the oyster, it will be converted into pearl, it seems. And that's something to research about. So anyway, now coming back to the Kural, Kural 17 says that not only the blade of grass, even the mighty ocean will lose its natural ability without rain. And this Kural is touching the upper limit of importance of rain. So in summary, what are these 2 Kurals telling us? Valluvar is telling us how important rain is for us. Rain is necessary for all of creation, right from the tiny blade of grass to the mighty ocean. And by showing the need of rain for the tiniest and the mightiest in creation, Valluvar has shown us the magnitude of importance of rain in these 2 Kurals. So with these 7 Kurals, that is 11 through 17, the importance of rain for the earth has been well established. The next Kural will deal with a different subject. I want to point out to something else here in this Kural. Here, Parimelazhagar is giving reference to another piece of literature as evidence for the presence of the phenomenon of waterspouts. Parimelazhagar thinks that many people would not know what a waterspout is. I myself have never seen one in my life. So he cites another literature to prove that such things exist in nature and that he is not just making it up. So he is referencing to this line in another poem called as Paripadal. The line goes like this. Kadal kurai padutha neer kal kurai pada erindu. What this means is the ocean water is reduced because the water spouts absorbs it and splashes it hard against a nearby rock, so hard so as to break the rock. So Parimelazhagar says that this line proves the presence of water spouts in nature because the other authors have also mentioned about it in their work. And Parimelazhagar does this kind of reference work in many places. The reason why I want to mention this here is to draw our attention to the fact that these authors have the practice of doing a thorough literature review, and they refer to the works of other authors when needed, just like how we do in modern times when we write a book or a research paper. Even though there was no technology to check plagiarism and all that, the authors are honest when they refer to each other's work. So we should appreciate the sincerity of Parimelazhagar here. Even though this is an ancient book, it seems to have the foundation of solid research. And I feel that this adds credibility to this book. And with that thought of appreciation and gratitude to Parimelazhagar, we come to the end of these two Kurals. I shall end here. Thank you all for listening. Nandri Vanakkam.